everyone. Welcome to the Purpose of Progress podcast show. I'm your host, Dr. Jim Price. Once again, where we share inspiring stories and inspirational, motivational stories of people's journeys in different industries and stuff like that. And today, we're so blessed and honored to have such a great guest today. She's creator of Magnet to Success, co-writer and creator of over 80 books, audio programs, TV shows, videos on positive thought, mind transformation, meditation, and more. And she also teaches others how to live mystical life and experience divine openness connected to happiness, success, and purpose. And with us, we're blessed to have with us and honored to have Michele Blood. How are you doing today, Michele?
I'm wonderful, Dr. Jim.
It was such a blessing to have you on the show and everything. And we were talking a little bit before the show started and talking about the differences and stuff in terms of, I'm a school counselor, of course. And, here in America, we have like a lot of, services in place to try to deal with kids' mental health and stuff like that. And we were talking about, some of the backdrops with that. And of course, our paths are kind of similar in terms of how we connect with people, wanting to have them become the best versions of themselves and divine purpose and those kind of things. So I'm so glad to have you on the show, Michele. So, one of the questions that I wanted to kind of start with is, when do you feel that your journey kind of started, and what influenced that? To like, kind of like maybe the point where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do, and kind of like how you transitioned into that, where you are, in terms of success you have today.
Well, I was a rock singer in Australia, and I was on TV since the age of 5, actually.
Wow, wow.
And I worked really hard, got the best band together. At one stage, we toured 7 years nonstop. We had Time Warner record label. Everything was going great. We worked so hard because in Australia back then, you couldn't get a record contract unless you already had a huge audience.
Wow. Okay.
You couldn't, it's just things are so different these days. You could just pop your song on Apple and
Wow.
yeah, so it was really, and so I had a near fatal car accident or truck accident on our way home from a gig, 12-hour drive.
Hmm.
And I never ever, I still make records. I still sing. That
Yeah.
hasn't changed. It's just a different area.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what happened. The truck accident, being in the hospital for months and months and months, and so many long operations. And I just say thank God for all the doctors that were amazing.
Yeah.
And that's when I had a sort of a spiritual epiphany. Things changed, and and here I am. And since then, I've traveled to over 26 different countries, done events everywhere, biggest audience, 50,000 people. I mean, just insane stuff. I worked with Bob Proctor, the late great Bob Proctor, for 7 years straight as well. 7 must be my number. Anyway, and we created tons of products and events and everything. And I ran his business from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was just the things that have happened and the things that can change. Once your consciousness changes,
Mm.
the mind becomes very clear, and whatever you think about is created. So that's why I say to people, you think you're not creating things through your thoughts, but
Yeah.
through your negative thoughts, it's either creating something negative or it's keeping you exactly where you are, which is, no one wants to stay stagnant. You're either
Yeah.
moving forward or back, and you want to keep moving up,
Mhm.
actually.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of points that people do go through. It's just a blessing that you made it through your traumatic ordeal with the accident and were to overcome those obstacles to have you do the things that you do today, success and being able to inspire others. And we always say sometimes other people, you don't know who's hearing your story and how your story will impact and influence others to want to make a change and know that they can overcome obstacles and stuff like that in their lives. And I'm one that's definitely true to that when I think about my purpose and the way I try to inspire people, families and children and stuff like that in my own way, to give back and try to open up those doors to a better understanding of self and having self-awareness and having those aspects of self-love and all the things that kind of, I think we definitely connected in that way, in that sense, and the way we do things and stuff like that. So thanks for sharing that insightful message of open up the doors about, your experience and how you overcame those obstacles. I also I mean, it kind of coincides with what we were kind of just talking about. You face these obstacles through your journey, and to get to where you are today. Can you talk about a little bit about some of those aspects of coming to terms with where you are in terms of where you came to divine purpose and things of that nature, and connecting that to your experiences in terms of divine purpose and motivation and meditation and all those aspects are part of self-healing and self-growth. Could you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, but first of all, I've got to say, I can see people very, very well
Yeah.
and their soul type, and you are beautiful.
Thank you.
What's coming from you, the energy,
Yeah.
the frequency is incredible. I just have to say it because
Thank you.
it's not often I feel it to this extent. And it's like, wow, okay, hit me with that gorgeous light. Why don't you, Jim?
Goodness of life. Hey, hey, I'm always good. It's always good to hear people say, good things and positive, because then you're trying, you're on your journey, you're trying to that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to inspire and be on a high, frequency high. That's where you get your blessings when you're trying to help others and stuff. And it's like your journey right now. You're, in the midst of, you still got, we both got still a lot left our journey, but being able to, use that as a platform to be able to inspire change in that way. But I'm sorry. I thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate coming from you. That definitely means so much to me. Goodness of life. Thank you.
No, I could just see you bringing the sunshine into any room you walk into. It's just obvious. It's beautiful.
So yeah, I know sometimes, we as we go through our journey in life and stuff like that, we look to see how we fit into, like, my niche has always been kind of like the children's, world where I'm inspiring youth and stuff. And your niche, it's the same too, and it's about those aspects of connectedness and meditation and self growth and stuff, even, purpose and progress. It's about, growth and, taking actions toward the progress so that you can continue to see that growth and development happen all the time. In terms of your accomplishments and stuff, because you've had so much wonderful blessings in your life to accomplish so many things, what would you feel has been like probably made your most prized achievement for you personally? Like, I know you've worked in a lot of different areas, but maybe pinpoint a few things that you felt like have been kind of like peak achievements that you really, cared, is special to you in your own way.
Well, I feel that after traveling the world and doing all the successful things I did, my heart was so open. It was like I had heart glow. And Bob Proctor said to me, you've got to find an enlightened teacher. That's what, a teacher who can, he said, I had one for 3 years or 4 years, Leyland in Canada. And so then I went on a journey, and I didn't know I was actually looking for an enlightened teacher, but I knew I wanted to find what this heart glow was that I was feeling. I didn't realize it was because all the work that I'd been doing with my affirmation pop songs and that becoming globally successful, and all the stuff I did with Bob. We created so many products, and amazing. I loved working with him because I'm high energy, he's high energy. And when people say it's the weekend, we'd say, what? you don't do things on the weekends? You don't, it's like, particularly for a rock singer, because you're working every day, it's like, so weekends, I think it's like the aristocrats in England. Someone would say to them, oh, it's the weekend, and they didn't know what a weekend was because they didn't ever work. But anyway, what happened to me was I eventually, after 14 years of looking, I eventually was delighted to be able to meet in America an enlightened teacher. She's about 10 years younger than me. And I went off the grid for 10 years, took all social media off, everything, and studied with her all over the world, meditation, until my greatest achievement, which I don't think is my achievement, it's because of the light that she could transmit to me, and because of my dedication to wanting to find what the divine was, my purpose was. So I had an awakening. I had a full awakening after years of meditating deeply and having all these spiritual experiences. So it's not what I've created in terms of products and everything else, but that was the greatest thing, because everyone is here. Their soul's waiting in line to be able to get here to this particular planet.
Mm.
It's incredibly challenging, but it's incredibly beautiful. People don't understand what's also out there, but I know what's out there. I'm not going to go esoteric on you,
Mm.
but this is one of the most beautiful world planes.
Yeah.
It's even though there's a lot of crap that continue, that's a very high mystical terminology, crap.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the world, I've worked in so many different cultures, and
Mm.
everyone to me, they want to be loved, they want to love in return, they want to look after their families and be able to, experience really beautiful things in
Mm.
life. And I want everybody to do that. And the thing is, they can,
Yeah.
but sometimes they just don't know how,
Mm.
because they're staying at the same vibration and they don't know how to change that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my whole purpose in life now is giving them every tool
Mm.
in the huge toolbox of the divine, because everyone's different. So I've got apps, I've got the Miracle Frequency podcast,
Yeah.
I've got all of these products, I've got students that come to me to learn meditation.
Mm.
So everybody's different. And
Yeah.
so you've got to give everybody something that they can uplift themselves, whether it's just the affirmation songs they listen to, which work so powerfully and so quickly,
Mm.
because you can't get a jingle out of your head, which is where
Yeah.
you want the positive thoughts.
Mm.
So, so the big basket, I don't have a lot of baskets. I don't want to be a basket case. We've got to have, I think it's best to have one umbrella
Yes.
and just put a lot of eggs into that divine purpose,
Mm.
is
Mm.
to release suffering in the world
Yeah.
and to let people know they're not alone,
Mm.
and that everything is possible for them if they will just give themselves a yes to themselves, to their
Yeah.
own life.
Mm.
Yes, I can improve my life.
Mm.
No one needs to do it on their own. And those of you who are watching this wonderful podcast with Jim, tell everybody about it, about Jim's, all his episodes that he'll be doing, because this is something that, like I talk about in my new book, Traveling at the Frequency of Fabulosity, and
Mm.
that's where Jim is traveling at.
Yeah, we're all on our journey. I said, so life is always a never-ending cycle of growth. Like you could continue to learn how old you are. There's some people who, they might go to college later in life, and that's okay. I mean, everything has its divine timing of when you're supposed to have happen. I always talk about that because, sometimes they talk about the science of synchronicity. And I'm one who always will like see the 222s and the 111. Sometimes I try to look into see what those things mean in terms of synchronicity signs. But a lot of that entails a part of that healing journey, trying to process that. Some people, they do. They totally are kind of get stagnated and are afraid of change, are afraid of going outside the box of themselves to kind of want to, have better. And most people stay stagnant and then they kind of maybe you might complain about things that are happening, but I mean, if you have breath in your body, I mean, you're always capable of making change. And I think sometimes, a lot of times, people get caught up with that, not wanting to take that leap of faith and move forward and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I want to go. This is the direction I want to go to change my life. For the better, put yourself in a positive mindset in that way. So, I mean, all that stuff totally resonates. I'm sure with our audience as well, as we talk about those ideas of growth and development and pushing forward with your progress and on the journey. Everybody's journey is different, but the way you get to where you want to go is always going to be different for everyone. So, I mean, that definitely resonates with me in that way. I also wanted to get into maybe like future projects and stuff like that you may be feeling like you're, maybe moving toward. I know you have a lot of things. You could talk about those elements of in terms of like the things that you're doing now and maybe things you'll be, looking forward to the future too as well.
Well, I'm always creating something. What happens is it's nonstop.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on. We've got 5 beautiful apps, but we spent years putting together the True Prayer app that
Mhm.
we've just released, and it's not religious, even it's spiritual.
Yeah.
So any person of any faith can really benefit from it, because it's me knowing the truth for them. And I've always loved to pray ever since I was a little girl. I went to church every morning when I was a little girl.
Me too.
Every when you're a little girl.
Me too. I know. I was there front in the front, right on the front pew with my mom
Yeah.
and my sister.
I went every morning. I
Yeah.
just with the nuns, with these
Hmm.
Irish Catholic nuns in the countryside of Blue Mountains of Australia. I
Yeah.
just loved them.
Mm.
But so I've always loved prayer,
Yeah.
and so the prayers are under a lot of different categories that come with affirmations
Mm.
and also guided meditations.
Mm.
It's called True Prayer app. You just go to trueprayerapp.com.
Okay.
It's for all phones, all different. It's Holly Fuller, who helped develop it, and Johnny and Dara and Trevor Rogers, our team. Hundreds of prayers I did. I do new categories all the time. I've just done a new category for miracles and a new category for people that are sensitive souls that find it hard to handle navigating the world because when people have got negative energy, it hurts them. So
Mm.
I've done prayers for them. Prayers if you're jealous, prayers to heal the people that are jealous of you, mourning a pet, mourning a person,
Mm.
every category you can imagine, how to stop self-sabotage prayers,
Mm.
to gain self-esteem prayers with no ego involved, just
Mm.
to allow your spirit to soar.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite thing that we've done until recently when we started the Miracle Frequency podcast with Michele Blood.
Okay.
So so every week, it's more like an app almost. Every week I talk about a different topic
Mm.
just for a few minutes,
Yeah.
and then a guided meditation, then a prayer, then affirmations, and then one of my affirmation songs at the end. So it's just
Oh,
20 minutes of gorgeous, uplifting, beautiful stuff.
yeah.
So they're the two things.
Mm.
Um, live events that I put on. I'm putting on a big one at the end of September
Mm.
where people can fly in from all over the world, and we just go into deep meditation and to really get people to recalibrate when it's in person.
Mhm.
Because before the lockdown, I was doing them all over the world,
Yeah.
live events. And I love having a whole group of people that just really have shown up because they want to change. Just the fact that they show up
Yeah.
shifts you.
Yeah.
Even if you've shown up for the podcast today, this is going to shift you in a positive way.
Absolutely.
And it's just, but I thank you for asking me, Jim. Thanks very much. What about you? Oh, my new podcast. I think it's called The Purpose and the Progress.
Yes. Hey, it's and you were mentioning that it's interesting that you mentioned the prayer aspect of everything that you're doing too, because I definitely believe in the power of prayer. Like I always, any project that I put together, I'm always making sure I put a prayer before I do anything, and have understanding that because of those prayers, a lot of doors open up. Like all the stuff that's happened up to this point. I mean, it's just been through the power of prayer and understanding that trying to incite the ideas of a positive mindset and inspire others to be positive too. I mean, positive but positive, you're going to probably have people be more positive, and think positive. When you yourself are that beacon and you try to shine yourself in your own way of being positive and showing people that there is a way to navigate a lot of the terrains of trauma and unhealed trauma and all the things, my childhood traumas, all the different things that entail things that people hold on to and sometimes never really tackle and try to actually go through and heal those aspects of themselves so they could, become more clear, have a clear consciousness of and awareness of themselves too as well. So that's I definitely resonate with that. I always say power of prayer, and I definitely do that a lot.
Guess
Nice.
what, Jim? Guess what?
Well,
We're in synergy, red hot energy, positive energy, built into synergy.
that's what I'm talking about right there, Michelle. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Affirmation, man. People sometimes don't really look at that as an aspect for change and healing and stuff. They think about just a prayer, but there's a lot of different connotations that go with that altogether in a whole. You know what I mean? So, I mean, all the stuff you're doing is absolutely amazing, Michelle. And it's we still on our journey and still pushing and still trying to inspire change, across the world and, and with families and childrens and adults and everybody, and I think that's so wonderful, all the things that you're doing in terms of everything. One of the things I would like to say, and I always make sure my guests have an opportunity to really hear, like, if you were to give your advice in terms of like move people who may feel like they're kind of stagnant and like have kind of been stuck, you could say, what advice would you give for those folks to kind of maybe push through that wall and get through that obstacle of maybe in that stagnant energy and things like that? What advice would you give to those folks?
Well, there's three things. I like the question. There's three things, Jim. First of all, I'm going to give away my favorite album and,
Yeah,
you know, which they can listen to that
yeah,
I did with Bob Proctor, Songs for Success. So
yeah.
you just listen to it over and over again, but you've got to do something physical as well.
Mm,
You've got to declutter your home,
yeah.
because if your consciousness is looking at clutter everywhere or untidiness or even, cobwebs in
It's
your mind, you get
yeah,
cobwebs in your mind then.
yes,
And so it's
absolutely.
really important to make your place as zen as possible, because that will help your consciousness
Mm,
so much. You will have huge change if you do that. And there's very inexpensive decluttering people that started their own little businesses during the lockdown that
mm,
you can hire if you don't want to do it yourself. Oh, I don't know, maybe that dress will fit one day, get rid of it. Get rid of it if you haven't worn it for 2 years. But
mm,
it's, and also to stop complaining. If you can stop complaining for 21 days and realize that when you complain, it's because you are afraid of losing something you've got or not getting something you want,
mm,
and you mask it, you mask your fear
yeah,
by complaining about people, places, or things. And I know that none of you are nasty people, so you probably don't feel good when you complain about people, places, or things, because
absolutely.
that's not your natural state. Is beauty and
Mm,
love and compassion and
yeah,
finding other people interesting, not just worrying about if they find you interesting.
mm,
It's if you can stop complaining for 21 days, and I'll tell you this much: if you find you're you're halfway through a complaint, but you can stop yourself
yeah,
halfway through
mm,
and shift your attention to something positive to say instead, you will. And if you're at day 20 and you complain, start at day one again. 21 days of stopping complaining will change your life. Your frequency will be so much faster. You'll
mm,
be able to see the opportunities for your life that you never saw before,
yeah,
that were always there. Divine angels, the divine always gives you everything that will bring you divine purpose and help you get out of a rabbit hole, no matter if it's a rabbit hole of money or whatever. But
mm,
if you do these things, you will absolutely change your life within a month. It'll be unbelievable. You won't recognize who you were. It's not easy.
mm.
People complain all the time, but don't. Stop.
I
In the name
definitely
of love. Thank you,
exactly.
Diana Ross.
That definitely is something that happens. When I was mentioning the stagnation and stuff, people complain, but then they don't take action to change the dynamics of the things that are happening in their life, but they'll continue to complain. It's almost like a hamster wheel where they're going through these things, and like I said, you got to be able to take action if you want true change in your life, and all those things are definitely important in that progress and purpose of being able to do those kind of things. So how can our viewers connect with you in terms of your all your books and all your programs? Like, how can our audience connect with you? What's the best way for them to connect with you, Michelle?
Well, today, there's 15 years of teachings, all different methods for positive thinking and how to stop your thought and
Mm,
meditate.
yeah.
That whole audio program is
Mm,
free. And also Songs for Success, they just go to Michele Blood with
mm,
one L, Michele Blood,
mm.
BLOOD.com/purpose and progress, because
Yes.
it's Jim's friends, and you will get those things for free. And
Okay.
then on that, and then, or you can just go to themysticalexperience.com if you'd like to become a student and learn how to meditate. You go to themysticalexperience.com. It's an amazing thing. Students and like-minded people from all over the globe, and
Yeah.
we have these Zooms together and live events, and it's just an incredibly happy
Mm,
and lovely way to be uplifted and find like-minded souls
mm.
that do find other people interesting.
That is so wonderful. The work you're doing, Michelle, is so much needed in the world. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that I've been being able to share some time and actually talk about your journey. And sometimes people see the success, but they don't know the journey that it took to get to that success. And that's what I try to have the Purpose and Progress podcast to kind of touch upon those things. So Michelle, it's been such a great honor to have you on the show. And we will be making sure that we put all your websites and everything in our link and everything as we get forward with everything and get through the editing and all that stuff. But it's such a pleasure. And once again, everybody, it's always about pushing forward, making progress through your purpose, and just trying to be a better person each and every day. So once again, this is the Purpose and Progress podcast show with your host, Dr. Jim Price. And today we had a guest, Michele Blood, and just a great conversation here. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and, do what you do. Stay prayed up and stay blessed. Until next time, take care and stay blessed.